Um, Welcome to Zohar Connection class. This parasha is Tetzaveh. Today is the 26th of February 2015. Before we go to Tetzaveh, I want to recap something about last week. Something that came to my mind this afternoon. It was amazing. I want to share it with you guys. Last week was about Terumah. It was a portion about building the tabernacle, building Aron HaKodesh. While we were in the desert, we didn't have Bet HaMikdash, we didn't have a Bet Knesset, we didn't have Yerushalayim. So God told the Israelites to build this Aron HaKodesh, this tabernacle. So what they put inside was the broken Ten Commandments, the Ten Commandments, Moshe's staff, and one jar of the man, the bread that came from the sky. And it's very interesting that the measurements of the tabernacle that the Torah told us to build is exactly the measurement of our heart. If you look at the proportion, is exactly the measurement of our heart. So what God's telling us, the story of building a tabernacle is not a story about 4,000 years ago, it's for us today. What God is telling us, He said He gave us the wisdom, He gave us the chokhmah, He gave us the right column, He gave us the Torah and the Zohar. So we are achieving this, the chokhmah, the wisdom of life. Then at the same time, He took us out of Egypt. He saved our body. He saved our nefesh. He gave us the ruach, and He saved us, our nefesh. We are not slave anymore. ما دیگه برده نیستیم. خدا به ما خخما رو داد، ویزدم رو داد و جونمون هم از بردگی نجات داد. So the only thing left is our neshama, is our heart. We have to build our heart. God give us wisdom, He saved our soul, He saved our nefesh, but we have to build our own heart. And you see, the right side is limited. There is so much wisdom we can achieve. It doesn't go way up there. Our body, we are here for 120 years and that's it. But our heart has a connection to the upper world. With the correct heart, we can achieve, we can reach the highest spiritual level. And He says that the inside have to be gold and the outside have to be gold. So our heart have to be gold from inside and outside. I cannot be a nice person and pretend I'm somebody else, or I cannot have a, God forbidden, a dark heart and pretend I'm a nice guy. So the Torah is telling us your inside and your outside have to be pure and gold. So again, we have the chokhmah, we are not slave anymore. The only thing left for us to do is to build this heart. I have a very good suggestion for your home, your house. Right now, thank God we have Yerushalayim, is the main place for the earth. In every city there is Bet Knesset. Every Bet Knesset has its own heichal with the Torah. My suggestion is, in your house, you need to build a corner. You have to make a section and dedicate it to the spiritual books that you have. If you have a Torah and a Siddur, put them together in one section. If you have a Zohar, Torah and Siddur, put them all together also. If you have some paperwork from the class, if you have some Hebrew writing, if you have Tehillim, put them all together. Like the Torah, we don't have one Torah here, one Torah there. We bring it out, we read it, and we end up putting it back to the same place. We have to create a tabernacle in our house also. یک گوشه خونمون باید یک حالت کنیسه مانندی درست بکنیم. اگه تورا داریم، اگه شفار داریم، اگه هفشم داریم، اگه منورا داریم، هر چیز اسپریچوالیتی که تو خونمون هست خیلی رکومند میکنن که همه اینا رو توی جا بذاریم. Now, why you want to do that? What's the reason? There is 3 reasons behind that. Number 1 is when they're together, they have more power to draw blessing and light to your home. If I have one battery here, one battery there, the power is very limited. But if I connect all the batteries together, then I can move a bigger engine. So by having a concentrated tabernacle, little bit knesset in your house, then you have this, you have the potential to bring down good energy, blessing to your house. شما راحت هستین با انگلیسی خانم عزیز؟ شما راحت هستین؟ اوکی هستین؟ Okay. Out of respect to our guest, you know, برو خطا دونه ملخ عالم شکل نمیدوارم. So number 1, we want to create this magnet. We want to create this source of drawing positive energy to our house. Number 2, the second reason is that we want to push away any bad energies from our house. We all know the stories about the Zohar, that the building got on fire, but the Zohar was untouched. Many stories, you know, there was fires in Beit Knesset, God forbid, and there was some harm was doing to that certain place, but the Torah was always safe. So by having it all together, then we are creating a protection for our own house too. The third reason, the most important reason, it causes us, it makes us to restrict. It makes us to not to act in a negative way, not to have this negative attitude, not to bring negative people to our house, not to have a negative conversations in our house. God forbidden not to act in a negative way. You know, if I come home and I'm angry, my children, God forbidden, they done something bad and I want to punish them, as soon as I see this corner, this tabernacle, automatically I have to change myself. So it creates a restriction. We create a restriction of how I behave, how I think, and how I talk when I have this sanctuary in my house. You know, next to my monitor in my job, in my business, I always have a Torah. This is it's always been there. And we get so many weird emails. All of us, we get an email. When I see the title is bad and I still look at the Torah, I said, you know what, next to the Torah, I don't want to open any bad videos, any bad negative things. So when it's scattered all over the house, we don't have that feeling. But when it's concentrated in one area, we have to create this restriction out of the respect, out of the belief, and out of the emunah that we have. So it's lead us to be a better person by having this sanctuary in our house. So that was the recap of last week. And again, this week parasha is Tetzaveh. In the meaning, the literal meaning of Tetzaveh is to order, like I'm ordering you to do something. This portion talking about this portion always come before Purim. You know, next Wednesday is Purim. We're going to read this Shabbat portion Tetzaveh. It always come before Purim. And not only we're going to read Tetzaveh, we're going to have an additional section this Shabbat, Parashat Zohar, from portion Zohar. So we're going to have 2 Torah this Shabbat. First Torah is going to be Tetzaveh, and the Haftarah and the Maftir is going to be from the portion Zohar to Amalek. That's an extra section we are reading. So right before Purim, we are reading about Amalek. Amalek is this nation that attack Israel, and we won them. But the meaning of Amalek is doubt, is not having certainty. Amalek is, in Hebrew is 240, the numerical value, and is equal to Safek. Safek in Hebrew means doubt. not being certain. So we are reading about Tetzaveh, and the Tetzaveh, the story is about the whole story, the whole portion is talking about Aharon Kohen Gadol, the high priest, clothing. The whole portion, the beginning is talking about the oil of the menorah, and the rest of the parasha is all about the Kohen Gadol's clothing. It starts from the hat to the metzach, a necklace, and shirt, and undergarment, and overgarment, and his dress. The whole portion is about Kohen Gadol, high priest clothing. It's, the face value of it is very boring. It looks like there is nothing exciting here, but as usual, the Torah is full of secret. The other significant thing about this portion, this is the portion that Moshe, the name of Moshe is not in this portion. As we know from the beginning of the Shemot, when Moshe was born, to the end of the Torah, every single parasha has the name Moshe except this one. And we spoke about it, why the name of Moshe is not mentioned here. There is many different level of understanding why. We talked about it before, since he told God, if you're going to punish this nation because the Egel HaZahav, because of the wrongdoing, they build this golden calf, God want to destroy the nation, and Moshe says, if you're going to destroy this nation, take me out of your book. And we learned that our speak is what we say is eventually become true. We cannot just say things without standing behind it. Anything we say is become actual. So on a basic level of it, the reason Moshe is not in this portion because he's the cause for it. On a higher level of understanding why Moshe's name is not here is because ego. We all study and learn about ego. Ego is our enemy. Ego is the only enemy that we can have. And ego show itself when there is a crowd. I can be proud of myself if there is a crowd looking at me. I can show off my money if there is somebody listening to me. If I'm in the middle of the desert, my ego, is not going to do anything because there is no people to admire it. So ego, it works only when there is people around you. There is people around us. So Moshe, what does he want to tell us in this portion by not putting his name here? He says, listen, I fight for you guys. I was begging for you guys, not because you were watching me, not because you were there to see me, not because I want to boost my ego. By taking himself out of this portion, he want to say, whatever the fight I did, whatever I did for you guys was L'Shem Shamayim, not because I want to boost my own ego. So that was the second reason why Moshe's names is not mentioned here. Is it clear? Is it understandable why there is no more name of Moshe? The third reason that why name of Moshe is not in this portion is this week we need a lot of help. This week before Purim, in order to receive the maximum power of Purim, we need to go through this portion. And we need the most help from Moshe. And Moshe, by concealing himself, he's giving us the biggest help. A physical body, a physical person has a limitation. A physicality has a limitation. Its power is not unlimited. But when Moshe conceals himself, he's concealing his name, he's in a spiritual level, so he can give us the maximum of his essence. Electric wire, if we conceal it, we can use it. But if it's not concealed, there is no way we can use it. God is concealing himself from us. I read a book why God is concealing himself. There is no way we could have done anything if God would be present. We would be shocked the whole time. So he needed to conceal himself so he can give us the most power, the most energy, the most light, so we can go through this week and go through Purim. We're going to go through the parasha and it's going to be more understandable. You know, for the past few years, I thought that the name of the parasha is the biggest secret, is the biggest thing, like Tetzaveh or Yitro. But now I realize not only the name of the parasha is important, also the word that starts the parasha is very important. You remember the portion Yitro? It started with Vaishma Yitro, and we spoke so much about the power of listening. We have to learn to listen in order so we can achieve a higher level. This portion starts with Ve'ata, and you. Ve'ata Tetzaveh. Tetzaveh. I think it's like that. Tetzaveh means to order, and Ve'ata means and you order. Zohar saying that there was not necessary to use this letter and you order. It could have just says order. You know, there was no reason to say Ve'ata Tetzaveh and you order. The Zohar explained to us there is a big secret here. Vav is the Zer Ampim, is the 6 Sefirot. Chesed, Gevurah, Tiferet, Netzach, Hod, Yesod. Kindness, being powerful, having balance, having certainty, having peace, and Yesod, foundation. And Ata is Malchut. Ata is Malchut. The Zohar explained that we have to dress the Malchut with Zer Ampim. Like the way we study in this parasha about the clothing of the Kohen. He says, this is you in the physical world. You need to dress yourself. You have to have this libush of Vav, of Zer Ampim. Whoever you are, whatever you're made of, you have to dress yourself with kindness. You have to stop judging. You have to have good appearance. You have to have balance in your life. You have to have constant certainty and peace and having Torah and good relationships. So the reason the Torah starts with Ve'ata, I want to tell you that you need to dress up, like the way Kohen Gadol is going to dress up in his own outfit. You have to dress up yourself with all the positivities of the Zer Ampim. Can we turn off the heater, Nilufa? Are you guys still cold? هنوز سرتونه یا you're okay? So what's the Zohar trying to tell us here? That it's not about the clothing of the Kohen Gadol, 4,000 years ago, and we don't even have a Kohen Gadol anymore. So what's the reason for us to read this section? The reason we are reading this section is telling us that is talking about us. When Moshe took the Israelites out of Egypt, he told Paro, let me take them out and make Kohanim out of them. So our purpose in life is to become like Kohen. And he tells us what we're supposed to wear, what should be our libush. Some of us, we are lucky enough that we are a Kohen, but we have to achieve that level of becoming a Kohen, not as a title, but as an achievement in consciousness. So the first section, we're going to go through the portion. The very first section is talking about using the most pure oil for the menorah. We're going to get to the section of the clothing soon, but it's a beautiful section here. I don't want to miss it. It's talking about the oil, what kind of the oil we need to use in order to light the menorah. It's talking about the most pure olive oil. There is a beautiful story in Zohar. I want to share it with you. There was a person in Syria 2,000 years ago, in the time of Zohar, Shimon Bar Yochai. He was a non-Jew. He was one guy used to live in Syria. He was not Jewish, but he was like a Navi. He was a very pure person. He could help people with their issues. He could tell them what is the right thing to do, what is the wrong thing to do. And there was a rabbi in that city And he was very curious, how come this guy knows so much? How come he's connected with God? How come he's connected with the light? How come he always have the right answer? So the rabbi become friends with this person, and they start studying together, they start sharing information together. And after a while, the rabbi asked him, how do you know? What is your secret? How come you're so connected? So at the beginning, the guy says, I cannot share with you, I cannot tell you. But after a while, that the rabbi insisted, he says, okay, I'm going to show it to you, I'm going to tell you what is my secret. But first we have to fast for 3 days, not to eat nothing for 3 days. Then we have to go to mikveh like 7 times. And then we're going to have to be in meditation like a couple of days, to cleanse our mind and cleanse our body. And then I'm going to show you my secret. So the rabbi agrees, 3 days fasting, 7 times mikveh, and more meditation. Then the guy takes the rabbi to this room. Maybe you heard this story from Nader before. He opened the rooms. There was a box on a table, very holy place, very clean place. And the guy started bowing down to the box. The rabbi didn't bow down. He thought this is Avodah Zarah. Then he opened the box. And what was in the box? It was a parchment of leather, like animal leather. And the only thing was written on it was Yud Hey Vav Hey. So the guy says, each time, when I reach this purity, when I'm so pure, when I'm so clean, I'm so push away the negativity out of me, this letter and this writing talks to me. It tells me what's the right thing to do, if it's yes, if it's no. It says it's light up. I think it's everybody's heart if you want to.
But this is cold, that's it. But it's still too hot.
So,
just turn off the auto. The auto is on.
So, this person's secret was a parchment with the name of Yud Hey Vav Hey on it. That's all. And the Zohar says, we have Torah, we have Zohar in our house. Every Shabbat we read the Torah. We see the name constantly, but we don't pay attention to it. We don't know how far this name can help us. And maybe we are not pure enough. Maybe we don't have this pure consciousness to realize how powerful this name is. Many of us, including me, we had many experiences that honestly this letter starts moving, the shades different. When we become very spiritual, when we become very cleansed, or we become very connected, this letter starts shining, they start moving right in front of us. So we have to appreciate this gift, this Torah that we have, these books that we have, these names that we have, that we shouldn't take them in a simple way. We should take them very seriously, these names, but they're going to work only when we purify ourselves, when we are more pure. By the way, let's go back to the subject I told you about building a temple in your own house. You remember? Okay, what was that? I'm sorry I'm jumping, but it just came to me. That was the big secret. I didn't reveal it to you guys. The Aron HaKodesh, again, was inside. The Torah was inside. The staff of Moshe was inside, and the man. And what was on top of the Aron HaKodesh? 2 cherubim, 2 angels.
Third one?
Staff and man. There was a plate of the man. So if we're going to build that in our house, so everything is there. Oh, by the way, the staff of the Moshe was the 72 names and the Anabekoach. We don't have the Anabekoach here. So if we build in our house that sanctuary, we're going to have the Torah. We're going to have the Anabekoach and 72 names. I'm sure everybody has it by now. And the man is the Seudah that we have on Shabbat, evening, or during any time of the week. That's the Seudah we're going to have. What about the 2 angels? Do we have those two angels in our house or no?
No. Our two kids.
In Shabbat evening, we talk about it. In Shabbat evening, who we are inviting?
Guardian angels always with us.
Shalom Aleichem, Malachi
We
Shalom.
have actually 3.
So 3. So we have the Torah, Ana Bekoach, 72 names. We have our Seudah, our meal, and the angels coming to our house when? On Shabbat evening. When we are inviting them. They are not going to come just for the fun of them. We have to invite them. And what was happening with the tabernacle? What was going on? The tabernacle, God says, build a tabernacle, put the angels on top of them. I'm going to speak to you from between the angels. I'm going to speak with you between the angels. So can you imagine on Shabbat evening, we're going to have all these things. We're going to have this Torah, and Bekoach, 72 names. We are having a Seudah. We have to say the Birkat HaMazon after the Seudah, and we have the angels. So on Shabbat evening, I realized why we call Shabbat is Kodesh, why we are so strict about Shabbat for 4,000 years. Because on Shabbat evening, after we say the Mishnah Berach, we have the chance to talk to God. We have the chance to hear God. We have the chance to connect to God. Because everything is there. It's like, you're buying a computer, it says, get the internet, get a computer, get this software, you can connect to anywhere you want. So if we have all these instruments and we have the Malachim on Shabbat, then we have a direct connection. The phone is on. Then we have this direct connection. Why they keep saying all the blessings is on Shabbat? Why they say Shabbat is Kodesh? Why it says if you keep Shabbat you have barakah in your life? Why you say anything you want ask for in Shabbat? In Shabbat we have Torah, we have Ana Bekoach, we have 72 names right here. Why you think now they put this maybe unconsciously, maybe consciously? Why you think we have the 72 names on Ana Bekoach with Shabbat? Because it's all like a Lego. It's all tools to make this direct connection. It's black and white. On Torah it says, I'm going to speak with you above the tabernacle, in between the angels. And on Shabbat, of course, we have angels. During the whole Shabbat, we have angels with us. In our house, in our synagogue. This came to me like a few hours ago, and I was so excited to share it with you guys. I hope you practice it in your house. We have to understand, this is not stories. This is not knowledge. We have to, when I finished studying Zohar, he says being a student is not enough. Last night I read it says being a student is not enough. By being a student, you're not going to make it. You have to bring this to your life. You have to build this tabernacle. Last week when he says build the tabernacle is for each of us. It's not for somebody else. So little by little, we're realizing how good Shabbat is. Last week, this lady make us learn about the angels, and now we're learning about the tabernacle. So, Shabbat evening, after Birkat HaMazon, this is the time the internet is on. The internet, the light of the internet is on. Let's move on to this clothing of the Kohen Gadol. Whoa. So again, Kohen Gadol is not somebody else, it's us. We are the Kohen, we are supposed to achieve the level of Kohen. And what about our clothing? So the clothing that this parasha is talking about is not the physical clothing, it's the Vav. It says, take yourself and dress up yourself with the Zer and Pim, with the spirituality. So the first thing it tells us to dress up with, it says love. It says love. We have to have this libush, we have to have this garment of love. It says the universe is a mirror, Anything we say, anything we do, if God forbid we talk bad, right away, the bad thing is going to reflect on us. If we want good things for other people, it's going to reflect good to us. He says, so why you don't wear this garment of love all the time? So the universe is going to love you. The universe is going to love you back. And it says, unfortunately, it's not a choice. It's not because, I want to act lovable or give love or not, because there is no other way. Like I said, the only way we can make it to the top is by building this tiferet, the middle line, building our heart. He says you have to build this lebush of love and kind emotions, so everybody else, the universe, is going to come back to you with the same kind of kindness and love. So the first lebush, the first garment we want to wear is love. The second garment is not gossiping. We almost every Lashon Hara, almost every class we're talking about gossiping. It's such a powerful negative thing, and it's so hard to get rid of it. It's very powerful, so it takes a lot of energy to destroy it also. So the second garment, the second lebush we want to have as the Kohen is not gossiping. The Zohar tells us that gossiping damaging three people. Lashon Hara، پشت سرگویی، بعد حرف زدن، 3 نفر رو دمیج میکنه. میگه first of all is harm the person is making the gossip. The second person is harming is the person we are talking about. If I'm talking about so and so I'm harming myself, I'm harming him. And the Zohar says it's also harming whoever listening to the gossiping. We had a class about gossiping. We said, if you remember, if we hear somebody is gossiping, first we have to try to stop the conversation. If we cannot stop the conversation, we cannot change the conversation, we have to stand up and leave, because we're going to damage ourselves. So again, the second garment is not gossiping, not talking bad. The first garment was always talking with love, so it's including the first one also, not talking bad about anybody else. We are harming a lot of people by gossiping. The next garment that we want to wear is not having anger, asaboniyat. The Zohar is going so wild over this section of not being angry. Zohar calls angry avodah zara, idol worshipping. He says being angry, it's make us a totally different person. When we are angry, the godliness is not existent in our body anymore. When we are angry, our neshama leaves us. We only stay with ruach and nefesh. So when we get angry, we become, Satan 100% take over us. He says, the Zohar says, you're not supposed to look at the angry person, because if you look at the angry person's face, it's like you're looking at Satan, because God is not there anymore. Angry is one of the worst qualities a human can have, and we want to avoid it at any price. The moment we become angry, we have to remember that our soul, our neshama is not with us. That part of God is not with us anymore. This negative side 100% take over us. I'm sure we all know, angry people break things, angry people say things, and afterwards, oh my God, how can I possibly say those things? How can I possibly act it that way? Because in reality, that was not me. This negative soul took over my body. It was not me. So I'm going to read this section from Zohar that help us not to get angry and overcome this negative part in human consciousness. Usually we have meditations in the class. This week I think that tabernacle story made it, so I didn't come up with the meditation. But when we read the Zohar, it's like a meditation. Reading a Zohar is like reading a Torah. We are drawing down this blessing. So be comfortable, be relaxed. We're going to read this section of Zohar that talks about being angry, how bad it is. And by reading it, it's going to help us not to get angry. את חג המצות תשמור, רבי יהודה פתח, חדלו לכם מן האדם אשר נשמה באפו, כי במה נחשב הוא, האי קרא וכמהה, אבל מה חדלו לכם מן האדם, וכי אזהר ליה, לברנש, להתמנה, משאר בני נשא, אוף אינן נמי לגביה, ישתחון בני נשא דלי גרבון אלין, באלין לאלמיין, אלא הכומהו במען תאשכחים, לפתחה דחרוויה למיה ליה שלם. By reading this Zohar, we are asking not to get angry. And it's not an easy thing to achieve. It's not like I never get angry, I do get angry, all of us we get angry. But by having this knowledge, hopefully it's going to stop us from being angry. It's so funny, I was thinking about it. I mean, recently when I got angry, I tried to avoid it. It's a personal thing. I always have an issue with the neighbors. And when I think back, since I was in Iran, since I was a child, we had problems with the neighbors. In Israel, we had problems with the neighbors. When I lived in Palm Springs, I had an issue with neighbors. Any house I changed in LA, I had an issue with the neighbors. And they always get this anger out of me. And I'm sure it's my tikkun by now. There is no way so many bad neighbors, you know. I always say, how come Albert Einstein was not my neighbor? How come this crazy person always become my neighbor? And, you know, it's for us. I mean, if any issue that make you guys angry, in a way is blessing. By the neighbor being there every day for me, I have to learn how to restrict my anger. If I had good neighbors, and you know, maybe I would never solve this issue that I have. So if there is a problem, if there is a person, if there is an issue that makes you guys angry, good. You know, now you know how to avoid it, how not to let this devil come inside you.
افرادی که ذاتشون وقتی متولد میشن خیلی خشمگینن، عصبانی‌ان، اونا چجور رفتاری هستن؟ یه دوستی دارم که پیدیاتریشنه، میگه اکثر کسانی که جراح هستن اینا انگر دارن.
ببینید خیلی این صحبت ها کردیم. ما وظیفمون اینه که خودمون رو کرکت بکنیم. ما نمیتونیم کسی دیگه الان بهتون میگم، ما نمیتونیم کسی رو کرکت بکنیم. اگه خیلی لاکی باشیم، خیلی شانس داشته باشیم، خودمون رو بتونیم کرکت بکنیم. ما میتونیم اگزمپل خوبی باشیم برای کسای دیگه. That's the best we can do. حالا اونا چه نقشی دارن؟ این مثال من چند بار زدم. وقتی ما میریم سینما میبینیم مثلا تام کروز بوم یکی میزنه به نفر دیگه، ما بلند نمیشیم بگیم آقای تام کروز این چه کاری داره میکنی؟ میدونیم که این فیلمه، it's a movie. ولی تنها کاری که میتونم بکنم از این مووی یاد بگیرم، ببینم این تام کروز بی خودی عصبانی شد، نکست تایم اگه همچین سناریوی برام پیش اومد من این درس رو یاد گرفته باشم، من عصبانی نشم. این انسانی که تو زندگی شما is the same like the movie. این مثل همون نیبرهای منه، somehow میخواد به شما یه چیزی یاد بده. It's a movie for you. I know it's very harsh. بعضی اصلا با همچین کسایی زندگی میکنن، ولی it have to do with the tikkun. همینطور که نادر میگه we have to say Baruch Hashem. We have to say Baruch Hashem and learn from it. How far, you know, maybe ما خودمون رو نمیبینیم. ممکنه بعضی وقتا ما مثل ایشون به اون حد عصبانی میشیم، ولی وقتی که میبینیمش یاد میگیریم که خودمون رو کرکت بکنیم. Any need for translation or we're okay?
من یه چیزی بگم.
بفهمه.
Having anger is something you cannot control. But being angry is a choice.
Thank you. That's a nice thing to say.
That's it.
That's it. Restrict. You have to learn how to restrict it.
Not to get angry.
But you know,
It's your power, but it's a choice.
you know, we are in Kabbalah class. We are not in a psychology class. So in Kabbalah, we learn that we have to eliminate even that anger. Not only to choose not to be angry, eliminate that anger by seeing God, by seeing the purpose, by seeing our tikkun. Then we're going to find out, no, actually that anger doesn't exist. It's part of the system. So yes and yes, you know, we have to restrict it in no matter what. So this again, this libush of the Kohen, we don't want to be angry. The Zohar call it the worst thing, avodah zarah, idol worshipping. And we talked about a few classes ago that our soul is like having a fence around it, and when the fence has a crack, then the snake comes in. Which snake? The snake from Gan Eden. You know, the houses on the mountains, you know, when the fence is good, no animals comes in. But if there's a crack, the snake comes inside the house. So by being angry, we crack our fence around ourselves, and the snake comes in. So angry, no. The next livush we have to have is ego. He says we don't want to have ego. I don't want to go through the ego class. We had the ego class. Ego is consist of 5 things. Again, is anger, control, judgment, being proud, and hate. So the next livush that we shouldn't have in our body is anger, controlling, judgment, being proud, and hate. I don't think there is a necessary to go through each of them. We talked about it before, and it's pretty understandable. So we don't want to have any of those in our clothing. Ego is made of 5 things: anger, asaboniyat, controlling. When I'm controlling my children, when I'm controlling my employees, when I'm controlling my husband, my wife, my parents, I don't let the light of the God from the inside to show itself. So we don't want to control anybody, because then we are putting down the godness inside them. The next one was judging. We don't want to judge people, قضاوت کردن, because if we judge, then the universe is going to judge us. The third one is being proud. Oh, I'm rich, I'm famous, I'm smart. You know, we don't want to be proud. The last one is hate. And hate, we spoke about it too. If I'm hating somebody in San Francisco, that guy right now is having a beer and dancing and having a good time. So where is the hate? The hate stays within me. Or if I'm still hating Hitler in Makshemo, he's gone 70 years. So what I'm hating here? So the hate stays within me. Not like I like him, not he did the right thing. But having hate, even the worst person in the humanity, is wrongful. We don't want to hate, because the hate stays within us. If I'm hating somebody, I'm not doing anything to him. The hate stays with me. So that was the 5 things that, again, we don't want to wear in our libush, our clothing, the way we look. The next one is, it says about not hurting people, not killing people, not in a physical way, the assassination of their character, not putting them down. We never want to make anybody feel small. We don't want to look down at people. We don't want to look down on nations. We don't want to look down on communities. We don't want to look down at countries. We never want to sabotaging. We never want to put down anything. We don't want to damage any relationship. نمیخوایم هیچ کس رو هیچ وقت هرت بکنیم. هر حرفی از دهنمون بیرون همیشه خوب باشه. There is a good example, you know, this is, I don't know, me among my friends, I don't know, I go lease a car, $400 a month, I'm happy, I have a brand new car, I come in my home, my neighbor says, oh, I got the same car exactly $380 from downtown LA. So right away, we're making the guy feel bad, you know, this is like we are assassinating his soul, we are hurting him. So, you know, we never want to make anybody feel bad. The guy is all happy about his house, about his car, about his shirt. Or I know some people come to Kabbalah class, Zohar class, some people put us down, you know, oh, you go to Kabbalah class. So we don't want to, never, if we know that they pay too much, you know, even they, I don't know, they cheat on them, we don't want to say anything. We want to tell them Mazal Tov, congratulations, enjoy it, and let them be happy. We don't want to, even if we are right, if we know that they did wrong, we don't want to take the happiness out of them. And another garment, another levush that we want to have is that we never want to have a negative thought. We never want to think negative things. I know we all busy, we barely have time to think, but sometimes before we go sleep, we have thoughts. Maybe somebody hurt me, maybe I see something bad, maybe I'm thinking to myself, maybe I'm imagining things. The Zohar warns us. He says, don't even think about negative things because eventually they become material, they become true. There was a movie, a book about this. It said the name was Secret. He says anything you think eventually is going to come to your hand. Anything you think about is going to happen to you. So we never want to have negative thoughts. We never want to think about the past. Oh, in Iran, somebody, took my carpet, or because, this negative thoughts, it's going to become actual. It's going to become a reality, So forget about the past. And this week is all about certainty. Purim is all about certainty. So if we think about the past, if we think about the future, it's a big trap that we lose our certainty. We always have to be in the present. The maximum of the light is in the present, not in the past, and not in the future. Toward the end of the parasha, he talks about sacrificing some animals. The Zohar explained to us that always be careful from the left side. This is where the Gevurah is. We spoke about the other classes. Destroy, cut away all the negative consciousness, action, negative speak that we have, put it away. And the other sacrifice is about the goat, that we know it was the god of the Egyptians. That's the ego. Is also talking about sacrificing the ego. And the last portion of this parasha talking about this essence. The Kohen Gadol, one of his job, you see it in some Christian temples, that the priests walk around with this metal thing and smoke coming out of it. So the Kohen Gadol, the Kohen Gadol in Beit HaMikdash also had that. He had, I don't know what there's a name for it. In Hebrew they call it Koteret Samim.
He had spices.
Spices. So he had this.
They were making
He had this instrument.
They had to make the odor, the special smelling in Beit HaMikdash.
So the Kohen Gadol had this instrument that they put 11 spices inside it. They used to light it, and there was a smoke coming out of it. The Zohar says, why 11? I mean, everything in Judaism, in Kabbalah, is 10. We have the 10 Sefirot. Everything is 10. Why 11? I mean, we know 10 is for the 10 Sefirot. Why 11 spices? چرا 11 تا spice پر استفاده میکردن? And the Zohar says it was the 11 was for the Satan. Zohar says we always have to give something to the Satan. Always. One very good example is when we make the challah. Whoever makes the challah, right away, before even making it, we make a piece and we put to the side for the Satan. Let's read from the Zohar, and then I'm going to explain more about this 11th and why we have to give something to the Satan. So it's the section number 46. I'm going to read it, and by reading it, it's going to help us to be aware, to have this consciousness that we always have to give to the Satan something, and it's going to remind us when it's the right time to give something to the Satan. We are here not to educate ourselves. We are not here to learn something. We are here to transform ourselves. And last week, I know that we all talked about how we transform ourselves. So I want you guys to have this new garment that we talked about, and I want you to be aware of this power of the Satan, that we always have to give him something. We're going to read from the Zohar. ותחזי אל מלאך חולקה יהב לקולה מקטרגה לא יכיל ליה לבטר ואי תימה אמיה ואיש ליה קדושה בריחו אלא בגין דגרים לכסיה נהורה ואת פחיה ואייהו לא קריב קורבנה אחרה לעת זנה ביה אחרין אלא עולה תסלקה לאלה ועל דה כתיב ככה יעשה איוב כל הימים דאלמלא סתרה אחרה את זנתה בחולקה את עבר מעל מקדשה ואסתלק מניה וסתרה דקודשה הווה סליג לאלה לאלה. Zohar explained to us the word lesalek is such a strong word. I don't know the exact explanation. It's like to kick out, to make him go away. You know, in every Bate Knesset, you see there's a little box, we put 5 cents, 10 cents, quarter. We always, you know, it looks like real Jewish people always give away something, you know. It's a good thing. The Zohar tells us, you know, give it away because you can shut them up, you can throw them out of the room, you can throw them out of your life with a quarter, with a smile, you know, with something small. The Zohar says if we don't get rid of him now, he's going to come back to us and he's going to take what he wants. I'm going to repeat. If we give that small piece to Satan, he's out of our life. He's out of our life for good, for that particular scenario. But if we don't give him anything, he's going to come back and he's going to take what he wants. God forbid, when I say giving it to Satan, it's not that we're going to give something to the guy with the 2 horns and the red tail, you know, is to Satan within ourselves, is to give something to our Satan, it's not somebody else. If I'm buying a new house, boom, you know, I throw a party, you know, in Judaism we have Chanukat Bayit. We throw a party, we make a big Seudah, we do catering, we invite everybody. Yes, this is my house, but I bought a house, but I'm sharing with you, I'm giving you something, you know. I don't want to be so into myself. Wow, I have a big house. I'm buying a car, you know, give it tzedakah. You know, take your neighbor, you know, to the park, you know, go to the hospital with that new car, visit somebody. Again, by giving something to the Satan, is not giving it to Satan, is giving it to the Satan within ourselves. You know, challah, we give him a piece. You know, if I'm making this big dinner in my house, take a plate, give it to your neighbor. You know, just give, just lesalek. Ayala Jun, do you have a good word for lesalek in Hebrew? You know, like get a rev, cut away, force him out. Yeah, force him out. Like force him out, you know, out of your life with this little thing. Yeah, you know, I was thinking about it. This American system of tipping, I love it. This is the best way to get rid of Satan. You know, I'm going to a restaurant, I'm spending $60, you know, wow, I'm full, I had a big steak, I'm so comfortable, I'm sitting there, I'm the king of the world. You tip the guy, you know, it's like, hey, it's not only me earning from having a good time, it's not only me benefiting from the light. I'm giving something out to the helper of the restaurant too. If somebody come to my house, fix the air conditioning, it's $100 job. Okay, he did work for $100, he give you $100 worth of work. Give him a tip, give him a $5. So you are not going to be, oh, this is my air conditioning, I'm enjoying it. So constantly we have to learn to give something, you know, give something to this negative energy within me to get it to shut them up, to quiet them down. Because God forbid, if you don't give, then he's going to come back and take what he wants. And it doesn't have to be only material things. I can, like Gila June, one time she said there is a lady that asks you once a week you have to take her to the doctor, right? This is a blessing. You're so lucky. You know, you have the whole week to yourself. You have 24 hours a day to yourself. You know, you 1 hour you give to the Satan. I'm enjoying this beautiful life, you know. Let me sacrifice 1 hour. This way I kick him out of my life, this Satan. Is it a good example? You know? Yeah. So,
It's a pleasure.
you know,
You get more pleasure.
you get more pleasure because that negative energy is out of you. Why you get a pleasure? Because that, you know, stingy, that negative force inside you that, you know, give me, I want everything for myself is gone. By giving it out, you get rid of that energy. So, making a phone call, you know, having a smile, having a good conversations, go extra mile, you know, pick up a piece of paper from the synagogue floor. This is like I'm giving a little bit of my energy. I'm giving a little bit away of my time to get rid of the Satan from my life.
Being a good citizen also is a good thing.
Being a good citizen. There is an amazing haftarah. So we're going to read the Torah, we're going to read the portion Zohar, and then we're going to read the haftarah. The haftarah of Tetzaveh is wonderful. It's a very nice lesson. It's talking about Bet HaMikdash. We talk about the Kohen Gadol, the big priest. It's talking about the Bet HaMikdash. We have 2 of them that got destroyed, and we don't have a Bet HaMikdash in Yerushalayim. It says the Bet HaMikdash was destroyed because of hatred for no reason. Sinat Chinam. This is, we all know that. It says one of the reason, the only reason we don't have a Bet HaMikdash is hatred for no reason. He says by eliminating hate from our life, it's the reverse process. If I eliminate hate from my life, then I'm going to start seeing the Bet HaMikdash again. You know, the third Bet HaMikdash is not going to be the physical one. The third Bet HaMikdash is a consciousness one, is a spiritual one. There is a Bet HaMikdash, the third Bet HaMikdash, but it's not a physical one. We cannot touch it, we cannot see it, but we can feel it. How we can feel the third Bet HaMikdash is by getting rid of the hate from my life. It's the reverse action. Bet HaMikdash got destroyed by hate, by eliminating hate from my life, first from myself, and then from my family, and then my community, and God willing, my city and my country. If we get rid of the hate, then we're going to start seeing the Bet HaMikdash again. So that was the part that we covered the parasha, and we are in 57 minutes. There is so much more information about this week. This Zohar this week talk about what is the biggest cure. What is the biggest cure for all diseases? What's the ultimate cure for any disease? And it's this week is Purim. It's call it a simple faith, simple certainty, simple trust. You know, in Passover we have this funny bread that we eat. It doesn't taste like anything. It doesn't look like anything. But 8 days, 7 days, we keep eating this matzah. It says matzah is the biggest cure for anything, for any disorder, because it's a simple faith. We don't ask questions. We don't say why. We know it's about ego. It's it's about being humble, but it says knowledge or trying to calculate. Danesh is not a solution for everything. Most of the time, we have to have this simple faith, simple certainty, simple trust that gonna cure our issues. We have so many muadim, we have so many holidays, and it's all about building a sukkah or a Rosh Hashanah and having, chogondar, this and that. It doesn't really make sense, but it says this is the cure. By trusting, by having certainty is the cure. We have the cure for all those diseases.
Can you say what you said in English also? Before what you said, the Danish.
Okay, I'm gonna turn off. This is like exactly 1 hour and. Okay, this is portion Tetzaveh, the second CD. You know, Zohar speak this week about not to calculate everything. You know, we don't calculate why we eat matzah. We don't calculate why I'm building a sukkah. It's a faith. It's a simple faith, simple certainty. You know, not everything's supposed to make sense to our knowledge. You know, we have to go with the trust within. Everybody knows, you know, when we trust, when we pray, when we meditate, it really helps us. When we try to make sense, when we try to calculate, not necessarily it works and it makes sense to us. Yes, Amir, did you want to say something? Go ahead and say it, and so I have a chance to go through my notes. Did you want to say anything, Amir? No.
I have something to say.
Yeah, go ahead. بفهم.
موقعی که فارسی بگم
بفهم.
آدم به هوا اومدن قایم قابل کشت بعد مشرقینو گلگل اولایی بود و نوحق بعد قایم خدا اونو چند دفعه آورد دنیا که میتونست انجام نداد وقتی که سیل اومد زمان نوح تمام جنریتورش از اون بود بیشتر این هفته که روز تولد و مرگ موشه ربنا بود خیلی صحبت میکنه که موشه ربنا چه کارهایی که خدا اینو انتخاب کرد موشه ربنا نمیخواست لیدر بشه به خاطر مطلب زبانی که داشت و خودش رو شایسته نمیدونست که لیدر باشه و میخواست برادرش رو که لیدر بکنه ولی برادر شد کهنگادون و این کدومشون به همدیگه اسادت نکردن به خاطری که اینا دوست داشتن همدیگه رو و اسادت وجود نداشت به خاطر همین حشه مشرقانی انتخاب کرد که لیدر باشه چون اهرون میبایستی کهنگادور باشه و جاهایی بره که آدم های معمولی نمیتونستن برن
Very nice. I'm going to read two more sections from the Zohar, two wonderful sections. The first one is talking about blessings. He says any blessing in our life at the beginning is difficult, but then it's become so beautiful, it's become so nice afterward. It gives example of having a child. 9 months we carry the baby and then this wonderful light comes out. At the business, when I start a business, I have to work so hard, I have to invest so much, but down the road, I'm going to see the blessing. Friday, we have to work so hard to prepare for Shabbat, then Shabbat comes and wow, what a blessing. Torah, to do a mitzvah is so difficult at the beginning, you know, but later on we see the blessing. Coming to Zohar class is very difficult, but then we get the blessing. So, what the Zohar tried to tell us in this section that, you know, don't be so afraid and don't be pulled back when you see difficulty. That the blessings follow after. So I'm going to read this section. Be'ezrat Hashem, we're going to have this consciousness that if you have a hard time, if you are suffering a little bit, if we don't see the light, the blessings should come soon after. כתיב יהי שם אדוני מבורך, מי מבורך, אבל רזה חדה ידה חד מחבר בנה, במדברה אחיזאו ליה בחלמה, ורבי יצחק כפטורה שמיה, מי מבורך. שירותה קשה וסופיה רך, מבית קשה ודינה היה ודאי. כגוונה דה יומה דרה מבית, דה במבית אתוון את ברי אלמה, ועד את ברי בדינה לבתה רך, ועד דה תנינין כל שירותין קשין, וסופה דלהון רכין, ביומה דראש השנה, מבית קשה דדינה, ביומה דעצרת רך בחדווה. it gives the example that at the Rosh Hashanah is a judgment day, but then we have the Kippur and Sukkot, and at Shemini Atzeret it becomes so wonderful. The last portion of this class is about mask, مسخه. راجب ماسک پورین صحبت میکنه. Why the Zohar talks about mask? It's not talking about the mask that the kids put on Purim. It's talking about the mask, and then it's become a tradition that we put on the mask. By the way, this Divrei Torah, this class is for the Refuah Shelema of Meir Menashe ben Shira. Refuah Shelema. So the Zohar explained to us there is 4 layers to our consciousness. This is a beautiful, beautiful lesson. I'm glad we had a chance to finish the class with it. There is 4 layers to any human consciousness. The first one is mask. The second one is the Zohar call it emptiness. Do you understand what the meaning of layer? میگه هر انسانی، هر کانشسنسی، هر بدنی 4 تا layer داره. مثل پیازه که پوستش میکنی. Every human being has 4 layers. The third one is our tikkun or klipot. And the fourth one is our soul. The light of God. So first I'm going to read the Zohar, and then I'm going to explain it, what's the Zohar talking about and how is it related to Purim. Tachazai. By the way, masecha in Hebrew is mask. Tachazai. Ha'i ayehu rogzad de ayuhu kum satra achra kama damran devi barnash leistamra menea velet pashra mialai va'ad ktiv Elohai masecha lo tasu lach. לך בגין לאבשמה גרמך וכתיב בתריה את חג המצות תשמור. תשמור דסתרה דקודשה דבר ברנש לנטרה ליה ולא יחלוף ליה בגין סתרה אחרה. והיא יחלוף ליה אייהו מסייב וסייב לכל מען תקריב בהדיה. First of all, everybody is wearing a mask. همه یه ماسکی میپوشن. There is no human being that doesn't have a mask. Why we have a mask? Because in a lower layer we have feel this emptiness. Somebody, he doesn't have money, so he have to wear the mask of I'm smart. Somebody is not smart, so he's wearing the mask of being rich. Somebody he's lonely and he's pretending he's wearing the mask that he's very actually friendly. میگه ما هممون یه ماسکی داریم. یه نفر پول داره ولی ماسک یه آدم سمارتی رو میپوشه. یه نفر سمارته ولی یه نفر پول نداره ماسک سمارت بودن رو میپوشه. یه نفر مثلا خدا نکرده مثلا شاید یه زشتی داره میگه من یکی ماسک سمارت بودن رو صورتش میکنه. So everybody is wearing a mask unless we are pure light, and then we don't have to wear a mask. And this emptiness, this is the psychologists, they call it childhood problems. But the psychology goes up to here, but Kabbalah goes all the way to the soul. So we all have, every single of us has a emptiness, have something that we don't have. None of us is perfect. So we always have to wear this mask to cover the emptiness. And who's the one that make us wearing this mask is our tikkun, our kelipa. This is where the Satan sits. Our tikkun, or our klipot, our negative sides, he says, hey, listen, you're not complete, you have issues, so you have to wear a mask to cover up yourself. So Purim, by the mask that the kids wear is just a reminder of us that we have a mask. But the Purim give us the power to go down straight to our soul. That we don't need to wear a mask anymore. We don't have to feel that we are lacking anything. We don't have to deal with our Satan, with our Tikkun, with our Klipat. Purim, we go directly to our soul and light. In Megillat Esther, that means revealing the what? The hidden. Megillat Esther, Megillah means to reveal, Esther is what? Hidden. So the name of the Megillah is Megillat Esther, to reveal the hidden. So in Purim, we want to reveal our soul. We want to reveal the light inside ourselves. Forget about the mask. And we don't care about the mask anymore. And another hint to it, in Megillat Esther, the name of God, there is no name of God. I didn't want to get into Purim because Nader's going to talk about it on Tuesday and Wednesday. In Megillat Esther, the name of God is not there. So that's another hint that we need to reveal it. There is no, God is not using a mask anymore. It's you need to reveal the light and from the Megillah. The same reason the name of Moshe was not in this portion, because he doesn't want to have the physical mask. Even the name of Moshe, it still gives it a physical identity. The name of Moshe, it's still a physical, it's still a mask. It's hidden because he wants us to go directly to our soul and our light. Purim is about certainty. Purim is about 100% trust. In Purim we drink, alcohol. Why? Because we want to throw away the mask. Why we drink in Purim alcohol? Of course, not to get drunk and not to be, God forbidden, like a pig. No. We just drink as much as we can, loosen up. Forget about this mask. I want to reveal the soul. I want to be my soul. Maybe I'm upset on somebody, but when I'm drinking a little bit alcohol, I go hug him. I'm not upset at him anymore. Why? Because I throw away the mask. I let the soul to control me. So the secret of Purim is get rid of the mask, forget about your lacks, get rid of the Satan and Tikkun and your klipot from your body, and connect to your soul, to connect to the part of the God within you. I have a lot of notes and there is so much to talk about, but it's already 9 o'clock. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you very much for being here. I told you before and I'm going to tell you again and again. It's this group, this class, you are one unit. It's not about me teaching you guys anything. It's not about me sharing with you guys anything. As a class, as a group, we draw down this energy, this information. And this information being revealed to me because we all have this desire. So thank you for having the desire. Welcome to new members. And Shabbat we're going to have here 9 o'clock. And next Tuesday we have Kabbalah class, 7:30. Next Wednesday night, 7 o'clock, we have a Megillah reading in a big Kenisa. Early Chag Purim Sameach.
To you too.
Thank you very much.